Right, welcome back to the Vengacast. Today we're here again with James.
Hello.
If you've watched previous podcasts, you'll know that James is an Indianapolis Colts fan.
Yes, sir.
So today we're literally just going to preview the Colts season, talk about what's happening in the off-season, talk about what could happen in the draft, and then look at your 2019 opponents.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, obviously the Colts coming off a very good year, so they were looking to build on last year in this off-season, and they haven't made many free agent signings, only two newcomers, but they've brought back a few key people, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it's being smart and not too risky, and not going too far with it.
Yeah, okay. We'll start off with the two newcomers that you've brought in then, and we'll start off with the biggest one, Justin Houston.
Yeah, I think he is a great addition. A lot of experience, as well, not too much experience, but I mean, he's had a couple of years. He's had a few years now.
2011 was his first year.
Okay, so yeah, he does have a lot. I've got mixed up with Funches there, I think, in years.
Yeah.
I think the only problem was his injuries, because he does have quite a lot in his time. He has had quite a lot. But he can get a lot of sacks. He's had over 20 sacks in a season so far in his career, and playing alongside Darius Leonard, I think, is a great addition. He was very strong for the Chiefs last year. We saw that against the Colts. So I'm impressed with the signing, and I think a big improvement on it, and going to help our defense massively.
Yeah, I mean, since he came into the league, obviously he spent his whole career at the Chiefs up until this point. He's definitely established himself as one of the best pass rushers.
Definitely.
He's had 14 forced fumbles in 102 career games, and he also has 78.5 sacks, which is only topped since 2011 by Von Miller, JJ Watt, and Ryan Kerrigan.
Yeah, so they're the best players.
They're literally the two best pass rushers in the league, you could argue.
Yeah, definitely. And so it puts them in good company. And I think put more pressure on the quarterback is something we can improve on this year. So getting him in will definitely help defensively and hopefully rack up some more sacks this year.
Yeah, I mean, last year you only got, I think you were joint 19th in the league in sacks. Trying to say now how many you got. I know it wasn't a lot by any means.
Yeah, it's not the worst, but I mean, it can definitely be improved, especially if we're making playoffs. We've already got a good secondary, so
yeah.
I think just getting that D-line and also pressure from the linebackers is important to try put kind of put more pressure on the opposition quarterback, and I think he can add that.
Yeah, I mean, last season as a team, you just got 38 sacks altogether, which really isn't the best, for especially considering you've done so well. I mean, that is like an area where you look at and go, yeah, that definitely does need improving.
Definitely, yeah. When we're looking to be a playoff team again this year, it's just need to be. If we want to take it to the next level and get further than we did last year, yeah, it's one of the areas we need to look at and try to improve on.
Yeah, so, I mean, all things considered, if you had to rate this out of 10, this signing, what would you give it?
I'm going to give it an 8.
Yeah, I was going to say an 8 as well. I think just very solid.
Yeah, injuries are the only thing that I'm worried about with this, but I think there's not much risk in how he can impact the team.
Yeah, because he's not even that old as well. He's only 30, so he does still have a few years left.
Yeah, he does, yeah. So, yeah, and playing alongside Darius Leonard, who had an unbelievable rookie year, it's looking good.
Yeah, and then your second newcomer, the only other newcomer, wide receiver Devin Funchess from Carolina.
Yeah, I'm happy with this one as well. We do need wide receivers.
Yeah. Wide receiver was a definite need for you.
Yeah, I know he didn't have the best season last year, but I believe with Andrew Luck at quarterback and our management and coaching that he can be helpful to the team and impact the team positively.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting, and it's always good to bring in new players, especially in that position that we need.
Obviously, Funchess is 6'4" and 225 pounds. He's not like the typical wide receiver build, so I think that's really good that he's sort of got like a mismatch and nightmare sort of wide receiver. And even though you might not have the stats to prove that he's like that good at the minute, but I think anyone who's 6'4" and he ran a 4.47 at the combine when he was drafted in 2015, I think them two together, it's worth taking a chance on someone like that.
Definitely, yeah, and I think we got him for pretty cheap, so we're not spending too much of I think it's like a $10 million dollar deal, so it's not too much. It's just on a 1 year deal we signed him, so I think it's not impacting our spending too much. So I think it's definitely a good signing.
Yeah. And this isn't anything against Cam Newton, but I guess you could argue that Cam Newton's more of a scrambling style quarterback rather than like a pocket passer, which is what you would maybe describe Andrew Luck as.
Definitely.
So I think it definitely helps with sort of wide receiver playing more with Andrew Luck than a quarterback like, Carolina with Cam Newton.
Yeah. And I think currently if Andrew Luck can have the season that he did last year, is one of the top quarterbacks. So
second most touchdowns, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was, and no one was catching Mahomes. So shows how impressive it was. And he also didn't have this. You could argue didn't have the same receivers as some other teams did.
Yeah, definitely.
Although some players did very well. Like I thought Hines was very good. Obviously Ebron came in and done very well.
Yeah.
So he showed with what you could say as less talent that he could still throw, and these players could like play as well as they did. Any decent wide receiver can, I think, do well in this team.
Yeah.
And I believe in the coaches of our team. I have a lot of trust in them to bring in the best players that we can get, really.
Yeah, and then in terms of free agency again, you just brought back quite a few people, but I guess we'll just look at probably the two most major ones, starting with Pierre Desir, the cornerback.
Yeah, I think this was a no-brainer. To let him go after a great season would be stupid. And if he can continue and kind of set off, start next season as he ended it last year, will be very impressive and kind of re-signing. So I don't think there was any any discussion on this or debate. I think had to get him straight back. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I mean, last year was sort of his breakout year, wasn't it? He definitely proved that he deserved to come back.
Yeah, he's another player in our team that hadn't necessarily shown anything previously to last season, and then had kind of a breakthrough year. So I'm just hope for the same again this year. And if he does, I think he can. If he can learn from last year, he'll only improve. And with a good secondary around him, I think he can be very good for us again.
Yeah. So in 2018, he put up 79 total tackles, which is really good for a cornerback. And but I think the game that really stood out for me was when you played the Texans in the playoffs.
Yeah, definitely.
Because DeAndre Hopkins, you could probably argue, is the best wide receiver in the league at the minute.
One of the best, yeah.
And Desir made him. Well, he contained him to just 4 catches and 36 yards.
Yeah, definitely. And Hopkins, did he even drop any balls last year? He was. I don't know if he did in the
He
regulars.
broke a record for something to do with not dropping the ball. I don't know if it was the whole season or just consecutive games or something.
Yeah. So, and he was targeted so much, and he was definitely the danger going into the game, and Pierre Desir kind of shut that down.
Yeah.
And had the game of his life. So, if he can even show half of that, then he'll be good.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said at the start, I think this was a pretty simple one. I don't really think that there was much debate in it. I think he's just had to bring him back after the season that he had and the monies that he's had to spend.
Yeah, I agree. It's a no-brainer, really.
Yeah.
Had to be done.
The other notable free agent used decided to bring back was NFL veteran, record NFL point scorer, kicker Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah. Again, I think this is another no-brainer, really. With his experience as well as his quality, he's definitely a player that would be stupid not to bring back.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's 46, so he is getting old, but he's shown over the last few years that is not necessarily decreasing with age.
Mm-hmm.
And his experience can definitely help us both in the locker room and in kind of stressful or nervy situations towards an end of the game where he might be kicking a game winner or something, where he's been in that situation so many times that it probably doesn't faze him too much anymore.
Yeah, and it sounds like I'm just going to read a quote that your general manager, Chris Ballard, said here about him when he resigned. He said, Adam is not only one of the greatest Colts in team history, but one of the greatest players in NFL history.
Yeah,
He's an ideal representative for our organisation, the Indianapolis community, and Colts fans everywhere. We value Adam's reliability and feel he will continue to kick at a high level. In addition to his performance on the field, he brings a tremendous amount of leadership to our locker room. Mm-hmm. He sets the standard for what it means to be a professional and how to properly prepare, especially for our younger players. We're privileged to watch him continue his iconic career for another season. So I guess it's like what you were saying, it's not just his on the field sort of ability why you signed him.
And if he was to retire anytime soon, I'd like to see him be kept within the organisation.
Yeah, maybe be a special teams coordinator.
Yeah, definitely. Just having him in and around in some role, because he is one of the greatest of all time in this sport in terms of achievement. Mm-hmm. Obviously, a kicker isn't going to be the greatest player in terms of, but I mean, he can go down as the greatest kicker of all time because of the records he's achieved, and he's got 4 Super Bowl rings.
Yeah.
And he's just, as that quote said, he's one of the most likable people, and he's so good, I think, to have around the team, especially with a lot of young players in our team, to look up to someone like that. And
he has some mad records, like you're saying. I mean, out of 369 field goals, he's converted 319. He's made 485 of his 496 extra points.
Yeah, so he's definitely been one of the best kickers of all time with his quality as well. And although it's at the age of 46, it's hard to be what he would have been in 30 years old, but he's still showing that he can kick the ball very well and not be a liability.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with this. I thought it would have been very stupid to let him go, and it's good to reward him with another contract. Mm-hmm. Because if anyone deserves it, it's him.
Yeah, I don't just think Colts fans will be happy about this. I think just NFL fans in general would like to see him have another year. I mean, he holds so, especially in the postseason, he holds so many records. I mean, in general, he's the record NFL point scorer. He's the record postseason point scorer with 238. He's the record field goal maker in the postseason with 56. Mm-hmm. And I think if he was to make playoffs next year, hopefully he do, for his sake. If he plays a few games in that, he'll also break the records for the most playoff appearances, which is pretty impressive for a kicker.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Also, of his stats are unbelievable, as you just said. I don't think for a long time, I don't think people are going to come close to his point still. I think the kickers are the best chance, and
Yeah.
see a lot more change within kickers nowadays because I feel like there might be a lot less forgiveness nowadays.
Yeah,
You can see players getting dropped, missing one field goal like Parky did last year.
Yeah.
Pretty much. So who didn't even have. Obviously, it wasn't one of the top kickers, but who didn't have a bat. He was pretty decent throughout the season, then missed. Obviously, it's such an important field goal. But
yeah, I think that's what people look for in their kickers now. And Vinatieri has, like, people use the word clutch and that. I think that's what people look for in their kickers now, sort of who can handle pressure the best rather than consistency. Because in that game you're referencing with Chicago, Parky had more points than the Bears offense, like, combined. But it, like you said, it came down to that one field goal, and you just couldn't get it.
Yeah, and obviously, it's not the. Obviously, had the quality to make it because he's shown that throughout the season, and also didn't he? I'm pretty sure he made it. And
he did. He made it.
A timeout called. Yeah. So that's the thing you have to deal with because that's always going to happen. And obviously, it can get to some people, and I guess maybe like, with only having one chance at it, kind of like that, it shows how unforgiving it is. So to make. What is it? How many years has Trinity had? Like 23 years?
How many years has he played for?
23, I think, yeah.
Seasons. Something stupid like that, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it shows how well he's done because he's not only played for that, but he's starred and won Super Bowls. So, very impressive and stayed consistent throughout those years.
Yeah, I guess that's pretty much most of your free agents wrapped up then, the notable ones anyway.
Yep.
And I think the best thing to come out of this free agency for you is that you still have so much money for next year if you need to improve again.
Definitely, yeah. I think that's stupid to, even though you could look at our cap space and be like, go out and sign a super team and then try and go win the Super Bowl this year. But I mean, I think with the team we've got, showed quality last year with some good additions and a good draft, we can still compete and also be stupid to risk spending so much money when it could go wrong. Because if you bring in too many new faces, it can obviously affect the team as a whole.
Like the chemistry.
Yeah, and I think that's something we've got very good.
Yeah.
So I think it'd be stupid to overdo it and just take our time with it and build gradually, and then also hopefully in a couple of years. Well, I think we can hopefully remain consistent over the next few years and really challenge sometime soon because it's definitely looking and that looks like it could happen in the direction we're going in.
Yeah. Obviously, free agency is only half of the off season when it comes to signing players and getting rid of players. The other half is the draft.
Yeah. So,
what would you say is your biggest needs in the draft?
I'd probably say a D lineman. I'd love to get one of the top wide receivers, but I think a D lineman is more important for us right now, and I still think, and I think that's the most important position because we showed last year that even with possible weaknesses in our wide receiver position, even though Hines and Chester Rogers performed very well, I think we still put up the points as well. We were one of the highest. We were quite high scoring. We went on a run of Andrew Luck getting 3+ touchdown passes in a crazy amount of consecutive games.
Yeah.
So it shows even without that quality in wide receiver, we could still score a lot of points. So, I mean, I think we should improve in wide receiver, but I think a first round pick should go in a D lineman, most likely being probably. There's a couple that, like Dexter Lawrence is good, and also Wilkins. So
there's also a few questions about sort of your safety position. Maybe a few Colts fans want to add a bit of depth there.
Yeah, definitely. But I actually saw a stat last year because I saw. Well, we took Malik Hooker 2 years ago in the first round, and I like him a lot.
Yeah.
He's. I thought something like we had the least last season we had something like the least completions against us, like over a certain distance, over the top, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like over distance. So I mean, although our safeties didn't necessarily look anything special on the eye or
statistically.
but I think that stat shows that overall it was good, and I think we can improve in that position. But I think the kind of main thing that we have to go for, or the key, is a D lineman.
Yeah.
To put with the help of obviously the
And you said you'd like
Houston as well.
You said you'd like Dexter Lawrence, maybe.
Dexter Lawrence or Watkins. Wilkinson.
Yeah, I'd like to see you take Dexter Lawrence. Yeah, he's £350. He missed 2 post-season games because of a failed test for drugs, but I don't think it's anything too serious.
Yeah, I think it was just him being a bit of a stupid student.
Yeah, so. I think quite a few college students probably do that, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's obviously a problem there, but I mean...
I don't think it's anything too serious, though, like you said.
I don't think there's something to worry about, because once you're in the big time...
Yeah, you go on.
Yeah, well, that's obviously a concern. I'd probably say Wilkins is also very good. The 2 very good players from Clemson, I think, aren't they both?
Yeah, I know. I think that they are both Clemson.
Yeah, so I have seen some mock drafts seeing us take a wide receiver, but
yeah, what wide receivers would you maybe like?
Well, I think it's definitely either Metcalf, Henry, or Marquise Brown.
Would you? Because I don't think Metcalf's going to drop the 26. Yeah, would you maybe consider moving up to take him?
I don't think it's
that much of a need.
No, I don't even think we'll take a wide receiver, so I don't think we're going to bother trading up other options to get him. I think we've got an early pick in the second round as well, so I think we're something like second pick in the second round, like 34th pick overall.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, we've got 2 picks in the space of not that long, so we could still pick up. If we're lucky, one of the 3 could even drop. Also, Riley Ridley as well. He's a good wide receiver.
Yeah.
Could easily drop into the second round, so we can still take quality in the second round.
Maybe Marquise Brown as well. He's a really good wide receiver
from him a lot.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, definitely I like him a lot. I do see Metcalf, Henry, and Marquise Brown going in the first round. Although also this mock draft that I'm looking at has Riley Ridley going to the Packers 30th pick.
Decent. So, I would say that.
Yeah, I think you guys could do a wide receiver as well. So.
Obviously, Calvin Ridley's brother.
Yeah.
Interesting fact as well, talking about Marquise Brown. I never realised this until now, but he's Antonio Brown's cousin.
Oh, did not know that.
Interesting.
I mean, this mock draft has him going to Oklahoma, so there might be... Hopefully he doesn't have the same attitude, because I don't want that in my team if we took him.
Yeah, so I guess if you had to pick one definitive player to take in the first round, who would you take with that 26th pick?
Although I'd love to take someone like Metcalf or Henry, I'd probably say Christian Wilkins.
Yeah.
I don't know too much about him, but I know that he's good, and I know he's the position that we need. But then, to be honest, whoever we take after last year, having the best draft class, after being told we had the worst, I just believe that we can. I believe whatever we take can work, because I think we've got one of the best general managers and one of the best coaches. So,
do you maybe think because of how well that draft went, there's a bit of pressure on you to repeat the same success again?
Possibly, because we did so well last year. But I mean, I believe that whatever our scouting system is I don't know what they call it there, but whatever the system is and how we grade kind of players
Yeah.
going through college. I believe just sticking to that kind of will pick up the best players, and important not to fall into any of the hype.
Yeah.
Because Kyler Murray's just shot up to first pick in most mock drafts after not even being near, just because of one decision between.
I was going to say, I don't even think, on his pro day even, I don't even think he threw a ball. Yeah. So it's it's mad what's really happened with him.
I think obviously he showed that how he's a top quality wide receiver, but coming out of college, he's based on qualities probably and how they did. I don't think he's at the top to go. I don't think he should be going number one in quality base, but he's a player that I think can easily become a massive success.
Yeah.
It's a bit like maybe, I know it's different with Baker Mayfield because he maybe showed a bit more, but sometimes at this stage of last year, a lot of people had Baker Mayfield going a lot later, and he went number one, and he's kind of turned the Browns around massively.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, but you think overall, obviously the draft hasn't been yet, but overall so far, good off season?
Yeah, I think so, definitely. Smart signings. Maybe hopefully add one or two more. But if not, I still believe that we've got a good team with the draft going into next season, and we can definitely replicate what we did last year and hopefully be more competitive going into the
2019 season.
Yeah, and with a better start, obviously. We've obviously got hard fixtures, but I think that we can definitely get back into playoffs, and hopefully we can go on a bit of a run in there as well. And who knows, I guess.
Yeah,
but it'll be interesting.
I guess looking at your fixtures, then we'll go through a few of them and maybe talk about how you think they'll go. We'll start with your divisional rivals then. Probably the Texans, probably your biggest threat, would you say?
Possibly, yeah. I think it's a team we know that. I think the team. Well, it's the team we came up against most last year, coming up against them 3 times.
Yeah.
And we beat them the 2 away ones actually, but the one we lost at home was during our bad run at the start of the season. So
yeah,
it's a team we can beat. I think it's a team we know well. I'll go into both of them confident, but they've also got a lot of quality. So. Also depends on the day. So, but
obviously you'll be playing them twice at the Lucas Oil's arena and then at the T.Y. Hilton arena. So it'll be interesting to see how these two at both of them.
Yeah, no. So, I think we can definitely back us to finish above them in the division, but they've still got a lot of quality, and it'll be the 2 hard games.
Yeah, Jags.
I think it'll be interesting to see how they come back from a disappointing season. But again, it's a team that's got a good defense. But I think as a team, I'd be looking to beat both times. We did lose to them last year, but that was one that was 6-0. So which was our worst game ever. So,
do you think maybe the Jags have the best defense in your division?
Possibly, yeah. I think currently, looking back on the last few years, they have, yeah. Obviously, a lot can change in the off season.
A lot has changed for the Jags this off season, to be fair.
Yeah. I think our overall team's better than theirs right now.
Yeah.
I'm more confident, but so again, confident going into both, thinking we definitely can win. But again, who knows?
Yeah,
and much can change in the season.
How much of a difference do you think Nick Foles is going to make to that offense?
I think he'll definitely bring a much bigger threat.
Oh yeah, for sure. But he's better than Blake Bortles. I think everyone knows that.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it'll be interesting to see how Foles gets on.
Yeah.
But again, I think the Jags will be a lot better this year. But I still believe we can do better than them. Well, anything can happen, really.
Yeah. And then final divisional rivals, probably your biggest game last season, other than, outside the playoffs anyway, the Titans.
Yeah, I think the Titans had a very good season last year because their squad arguably isn't that they were doing very well for the squad they had.
What do you think that came down to? Sort of their success last season.
I think good coach, or good staff. I think they just played well as a team and they got on a run and went on a run because they went on a similar run to us where towards the end of the season we were just neck and neck the whole way until the end. Obviously it came down to that one game. So it'll be hard for them to replicate it, but they are a good team. Again, just like the Jaguars and Texans, the games I think we should be favourites to win, but again, can be hard.
Yeah, I definitely think a lot of the Titans' success came down to their sort of running game and offense last year.
Yeah.
I think the offensive coordinator done a really good job, whoever that is.
I made sure I didn't mention his name. Kept it general.
Right, coming outside your division then. For the rest of the games, the Falcons. Yeah. You are playing the Falcons at home.
I think just looking at our overall all our home fixtures, I think we'll in the games. I think.
Yeah.
It's impossible to say we're going to win every one, but I mean it could happen because teams I'd be confident against. I think it's right, and I think this year our home record could be very, very important. Looking at when looking at our away kind of fixtures, so we so it's just about I think we need to kind of lock down at the Lucas Oil and win games that we should be when we've got trips to some of the best teams away from home.
Yeah. Next, same division as the Falcons, the Panthers at home.
Yeah, I think along with the Falcons, I think Panthers have been they were quite disappointing last year, and I don't think they'll do too well next year. So again, I think it's a team we have to beat.
Yeah.
Then I guess you can never rule out a team at any point, really.
Do you know
before season starts?
Do you know when the last time you beat the Panthers at home was?
Nope.
You'd never have.
Oh God. Well, I mean, there's a time for a first.
Yeah, there's a first for everything. Yeah, definitely.
They do have a great kicker in Gunnar. Shout out to the Scottish boys. They've got quality in the team, and who knows? But again, it's a game we should be winning. Oh, well, can be obviously, and should be winning at home. But that record and that stat does scare me. But
to be fair, you've only played them 3 times.
Yeah, no, I don't think we had played them too much, so I was a bit worried.
The Broncos at home.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Broncos do next year with a bit of change.
New quarterback then.
Yeah, just like the other two, it's one we should be looking to win, but again, who knows? But they have improved, I think. So you can never rule out, as I've already said, you can't rule out any team on how well they're going to do.
Yeah.
Really, we kind of showed that last year as well. But yeah, just confident in all our home games.
Next then, I think a team you should definitely be beating at home. I think they're probably one of the most, I don't want to say worst teams in the NFL at the minute, but the fact that they don't even have a starting quarterback yet, the Dolphins.
It's another one we should win, but
definitely should be winning that one.
Yeah, but nothing's guaranteed as well. But yeah, confident against them. I think they don't look very good going into this new season. So but obviously a lot can change from now until the start of the season. But I'll be disappointed. It'll be a bad game if we lose that one.
Yeah,
and the same with the next one, I think.
Yeah, forward night, your final home game was against, well, not final in terms of like dates, because the dates haven't been announced yet, but final on this list is the Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Well, they're another team that you just can't rule it. Well, who knows what's going to happen with them and how they're going to perform, because they've
I was going to say.
definitely improved massively, and they've got, 3 first-round picks?
3 first-rounders, so Antonio Brown. There's a lot going on at the Raiders at the minute.
So they could definitely be very, a lot more competitive this year and much more dangerous. So that'll be a hard one.
Yeah.
But depends how the players kind of fit in, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. So I mean, altogether, like you said, your home games, you could probably win them all. Like they're all winnable.
They're all games that I'd see us as favourites going into.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. So you'd probably go into all of them as favourites.
Yeah, and if you could take them separately, you'd be looking to win them all. But I mean, anything can happen. No matter who you're against, it's very hard to win that many games, like in a row or whatever.
Yeah. So now getting on to your away games, get quite a bit harder here.
Much harder,
starting with the Chiefs.
Yeah. Well, the Chiefs beat us quite comfortably in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be a force this year. Hopefully Houston can help us out in this game, but I mean, it's a game that we might want to take revenge at Arrowhead Stadium, because we did play very poorly last year.
Yeah, maybe take that motivation into it.
Yeah, and want to show that. Show what we got, because I thought we gave it to them a bit easy. Through the game away.
I still think that any team who's playing the Chiefs, although they have tried to sort of improve defensively, they got rid of arguably 2 of their best 3 defensive players from last year. And they did bring in Matthew, but other than that, I think if your offense shows up on the day against the Chiefs, you've always got a chance.
Yeah, definitely.
You've just got to be prepared for a shootout.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we do have the weapons in offense to really test the Chiefs, which we didn't do in the playoff game. But I like our defense, so I believe we can win the game. But I mean, it's very hard, because the Chiefs are going to be one of the favourites next year, in my opinion, for the whole thing. And definitely going to Arrowhead Stadium is very hard.
Do you definitely think the Super Bowl next year goes through Arrowhead?
Yeah, probably, yeah. I think they're definitely one of the favourites in Kansas. So
next then,
yeah,
you are at the Chargers in LA.
Another very hard game.
Probably, could you argue, another one of the favourites again?
Yeah, definitely. I think they did very well last year, and they'll be wanting to improve on that. As a game, obviously, I think we've got enough quality in our team to beat anyone now. But I mean, it's just about turning up on the day, because I think the Chargers are a very good team.
Yeah.
And they've got a lot of talent, and weapons to use. So
yeah,
another game like the Chiefs where we can win, but I mean, we probably won't be favourites, and it's very, very difficult.
Yeah. I think that'll be a quite interesting match, because I would say you and the Chargers are pretty similar.
Yeah.
You both have building defenses that are getting better and better, and everyone knows how elite the offenses already are.
Yeah, and we do have the best rookie defensive rookie from last year. So out of the 2 teams, yeah, that's right.
Which one got called up to the Pro Bowl?
Yeah, no, but which one won the defensive rookie of the year?
Yeah, true.
And wasn't based on votes from fans.
Right, okay, at this one then you're probably playing the Super Bowl favourites, I would say, in the Saints. At the Saints.
Easy one. Yeah, that team's shocking.
Yeah.
I think the 3 that we've just gone through are the 2 of the hardest games that you'll get in a season.
In the NFL, arguably.
Yeah, in the whole NFL. So it's another one where obviously we can compete and could win, but again, probably not going to be the favourites.
Yeah.
Very hard game.
I'm just looking at this. This was in 2011, but last time you played the Saints in New Orleans, it finished 62-7 to the Saints.
Yeah, well, I don't think we were a very good team back in that year. So
that was the year before you took Andrew Luck, wasn't it?
Yeah,
you took Luck in 2012.
I think, yeah, that's right. The hero, the GOAT. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's it's a very hard game. I think they probably are the Super Bowl favourites. They were unlucky not to get into the Super Bowl last year, so
Yeah.
they'll definitely be ready for the new season, I think.
Could that, I don't want to build your ego too much here, but could that potentially be the Super Bowl next year? Could this be the build-up to it?
I mean, there's one half guaranteed, so it's just about the Saints if they can make it.
Yeah, of course.
No, I definitely think it can be, yeah. I think they're definitely the favourites from the
NFC.
NFC, yeah. And there's some very good teams in the AFC that the Colts would have to get through to get there, like the Chiefs and the Chargers.
And I think you've always got to accept.
Patriots.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I mean, very, very difficult. But, I mean, it can happen. And I think it's true that I'd say we're two of the better teams, like kind of top 6, 7 teams in the NFL. So, definitely can happen that game. But I'll take it because it means we're in the Super Bowl. So
yeah, I think them three will definitely all be sort of TV games where the whole nation and people in the UK and everywhere who watch the NFL will want to watch them games.
Yeah, sadly they'll probably be on prime time at 1 in the morning. But
yeah, well, I'm gonna have to stay up for the first game of the season, 3 o'clock on a Thursday or Friday morning.
I'll be there. Don't worry.
Love that.
We'll watch the kickoff.
Of course.
Our own version and watch it live.
Oh yeah, you should do that. Just set it up.
Yeah, I'm up for
that. The Colts at the Steelers.
Yeah, I think the Steelers aren't going to be much of a threat next year. I think they've lost too much, and it's not the best time for them. I think they've got to go on a rebuild, and but they've still got quality in their team. They've got a good quarterback, and they've still got Juju Smith-Schuster. Can't hardly pronounce his name.
Juju.
Juju. I'll just call him Juju.
Yeah, just Juju.
Just call him Dave.
Yeah, Dave's gonna have a good season.
No, I think it's they're still pose a threat, but I think it's a game we should be winning, especially with the other hard away games that we've got. Got to be winning ones like this on the road. But it'll be interesting to see how they are like next season.
Yeah, I think the first few games could really define their season.
Yeah, and with the Browns improving how they have,
yeah,
I don't think they'll be winning and obviously it's the Ravens as well.
Yeah,
who else isn't
the Ravens are in that division,
and
Cincinnati.
Yeah, well, the Bengals will win that division, but
yeah, of course, quite easily.
Shout out, Pat. No, I think they're probably seen as the best team in that division last year this time, but I think now probably third. So I think it shows that they've gone downhill, whereas other teams in the division have gone up quite a lot. So
yeah,
I think they need to go on a rebuild and might take a few seasons for them to fight back.
Yeah. When do you think's the best time? Because obviously, like we were saying before, the fixtures haven't came out yet. When do you think's the best time to play Pittsburgh?
It depends. It could be good to play them early, but I mean, if they might start well or something, it might be well, or they might go on a run of or maybe if they start badly, it might be good to play them a bit later on when they're kind of out of it a bit, or out of contention. But
yeah,
I'd say either at the start or the end. Like when I say the start, I mean literally first game. But,
yeah.
If not first game, then I'd probably say either mid to late because.
Round about game 12 or something.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell how they'll do. So
yeah,
whether you try hit them early or hopefully they have a bad season and come to you pretty, not with much confidence.
Yeah, and then finishing up your schedule, then you will be in Florida again, in Tampa Bay, to face the Buccaneers.
And I hope the best for the Buccaneers. Shout out Dan.
Yeah,
it's a game we should be looking to win. A lot of people have the Bucs not as one of the worst teams. I think
I would say about 90% of people who watch the NFL would have the Bucs finishing bottom of their conference.
Yeah.
Or division, I mean.
I think I saw the power rankers, 28 or 29th.
Yeah, people aren't projecting them to have a good year at all.
I hope they do well, but
yeah, I was going to say, because every year there is that sort of one or two teams who go from bottom to top.
Yeah.
The Bucks could maybe shock the world. I think it's going to take quite a bit to overcome the Saints, but we can see.
Yeah, I don't think they'll shock to come that far up. But I mean, I think they are a team that could potentially have an alright season, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So, we'll have to see though. But I'm looking forward to the season now, especially with much higher expectation than last year.
Yeah. If you had to guess your record now, what would you say?
16-0.
Okay.
No, probably. I really want 12-4, but it's like with our fixtures, that's very difficult. But you know what? Confidence is the key, so I'm gonna go 12-4, but probably more realistic 11-5. But
I think 12-4 and 11-5 are definitely achievable.
Yeah, definitely. But be cool to go 13-3. But I mean, with the fixtures, I don't think. Maybe with the fixtures we had last year and the team we got now, I'd be more confident of getting that. But, I mean, it depends how certain teams perform and how we get on in the rest of the off season. But I think we could definitely think we'll improve on the 10-6 last year, and that was coming with a very bad start as well. So
yeah, so like you said, you think you'll make playoffs. How far do you think you can go into the playoffs?
I mean, just have to take it game by game. Hopefully the whole way, but depends who we come up against as well, because we came up against a team like the Chiefs or the Patriots early, then it could be difficult.
So you'd want to aim for a first round bye, maybe avoid them as much as you can.
Bye, yeah. So I know sometimes that can not help because you're taking a week off, but I mean, with some of the teams that we could face, taking a bye could be very important. To hopefully missing certain teams as well.
Yeah.
But I think we can get to the conference final, finals or whatever, and hopefully actually be competitive throughout it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just take it game by game if we get to playoffs, and then if we do that, we can well, I mean, we can beat if you're making playoffs, then on your day you can probably beat anyone really. If you play the right game. So if we take it game by game, who knows? But I think, although I'd like to say we can make the Super Bowl, I think it's very, very difficult with the Chiefs and the Patriots.
Yeah.
And the Chargers as well.
What do you think's the motivation for this season then? Because last year so much was made of Frank Reich, sort of showing where 32 on the power rankings list and sort of using that to push your players every week.
Yeah.
What do you think's going to be the motivation this season? Because you can't use that again this time, obviously.
I think the same thing that we did. I think one thing that we did last year that we'll do this year is just the 1-0 mentality of just taking every game as it comes and just trying to win that and go 1-0 after every game.
Yeah.
Which worked last year because that's what we did. I also think there's still a lot more that a lot of players want to get. I think we've got a very hungry team.
Mm-hmm.
Someone like Darius Leonard, who was unbelievable last year, still. I think the fact that he didn't make the Pro Bowl will improve his game.
Yeah, definitely.
He still talks about it. He's still annoyed about it, how people sleep on him and kind of underrate him.
You can't blame him, to be fair.
Yeah, I think it's one of probably the biggest snub from last year from the Pro Bowl.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he uses that right and shows what he can show.
Yeah.
But I think there's still a lot of hunger in the team, and obviously any player wants to win the Super Bowl. So, especially with the team we got a chance. So, and I think we got a good mixture of experienced and youth to really compete. But I mean, there's some very good teams against us, so who knows?
Yeah, I guess to finish off then, do you think you maybe have any potential award winners in that team? Maybe MVP candidates, Defensive Player of the Year candidates, or?
I think if Darius Leonard does what he did last year, he can obviously be in contention for like Defensive Player of the Year. But
Yeah.
I think I know Andrew Luck's something like third or fourth favourite for MVP.
Oh,
I
is he?
think he's quite high up because I think if we have a good season, I think he'll be the main guy in it. So I think,
and if you can give him even more weapons.
yeah, I think even with the team we had last year, he was being named as second in the MVP race by some people. So I think if we have a good season, it'll be down to him. So I think that'll just result in him possibly being in that MVP race. And I think obviously also last year Mahomes went on a mad one.
Yeah, no one was catching him.
So I mean, if Mahomes even if he did a bit less and still won MVP, I think Andrew Luck would have been talked about more, and then obviously more players. There would have been more of a debate. I don't think there was a debate last year with Mahomes winning, really. But
do you think maybe, say if there was like a list last year after it came out, where do you think Andrew Luck would have been on that list last year in the MVP race?
Me being biased would say second, but
I'd probably agree, second or third.
Definitely top 5, 100%. I think Drew Brees up there as well.
Yeah.
And then there's some good running backs as well. And actually, Mahomes would have come second, I think, in my list. With Chris Jones first.
Oh, of course, yeah, of course.
Yeah, but I don't think anyone can complain with Andy on that one. He's got a spot on.
Yeah, of course. There's like no doubt in anyone's mind as that Chris Jones was completely robbed of MVP.
Oh man, what a moment when,
of course,
Andrew said that. Shout out Andrew. But nah, I think with a good season, I think Andrew Luck will definitely be in the MVP race.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's that. Hopefully we have a Rookie of the Year, but that's a bit much.
Maybe, yeah. But, I guess we'll have to see who you take in the draft before you can start predicting that.
Yeah.
Because if you take like a lineman, they're hardly going to get Rookie of the Year, are they?
Yeah, no, but could get like 50 sacks.
Yeah. But oh well, this has been good. Obviously, saying what you think about the Colts season and that. Anyone who's listening,
to it.
Yeah, anyone who's listening who wants to come on and talk about their team, maybe like you were saying, Andy with the Chiefs, Dan with the Bucks, Adam with the Giants, Pav with the Bengals. Anyone who really follows an NFL team can come on and talk about them.
Yeah, and also if there's any listeners that we aren't familiar with, you can talk to Joe and do a podcast with him.
Of course. Anyone's welcome on.
On this podcast, we are open to all.
Of course. Oh, well, it's been nice talking to you, James. Previewing the Colts season.
Thank you for having me. Had a great time, as always.
I know we'll have you back on again because you're on like every other one, so we'll see you soon.
Yeah, don't worry, fans, I'll be back.
All right, see you later.
See you guys.